This August, I made £62,000 using LinkedIn completely organically with no ads, no complicated stuff, and I'm going to talk you through exactly how I did it. And no, this video isn't to show off, it's hopefully so you can take something away from it. Because too many people talk about irrelevant metrics. There's no cash prizes for the highest engagement or the highest number of likes, but there are cash prizes for successful sales calls. And August was our most successful month to date. £62,000 in brand new revenue. Mind blown. But before we start, yes, this is revenue. There's money to come out of that. Team, tax, tools. But I had to hook you in somehow, didn't I? So let's get into it. The first thing we focused on was objectives. I like to reverse engineer absolutely everything, so starting with the end or beginning with the end in mind. Now the objective for August was simply to book calls, and we induced a bit of urgency by having a £1,000 price rise positioned for the 1st of September. And the reason we always start with the objective first is because we want to be very, very intentional with our content and the strategy behind it. If we're not being intentional, stuff's just going to fall flat. So every single post, every single campaign, every single piece or month of content that you put out should have an objective behind it. What's the intention? Now we use our CTC model: capture, trust, convert. Capture attention, build trust, convert into leads. And each piece of this journey or this funnel strengthens the perception that people have around myself, around the business, around the outcome that they're going to get if they choose to work with us. So really clear on the objectives before we move into the next stage. And that stage is CTAs. How are we going to call potential clients and prospects to action? Where do we want them to go? How do they get there? How can we make it nice and easy? And really dial in that messaging. So again, before booking a call, this is hopefully going to be one of the last pieces of the puzzle. So we want to engineer this from the start. Okay, so what I did was reverse engineered text CTAs and also CTAs on the end of carousels as well. So as you'll see on screen, I put our prices rise by £1,000 on the 1st of September and then just stacked a load of social proof, organic screenshots from our clients who've seen some great results over the past couple of months. Again, the perception just gets stronger and stronger. It builds over time. And when they see things like this, people are more inclined to check you out. Maybe it's just a lead magnet download. Maybe it is booking a call. So we keep it really visual and only highlight and hone in on the things that people are actually interested in, usually time and money. Stage number 3, pretty obvious one, visibility. And this has honestly been one of the most game-changing things I've done for the business, is giving myself and the team full visibility of everything that's going on every single day. So all we have is a simple Google Sheet. You'll see it on here. Obviously I've had to blur it out, but it shows number of calls booked, revenue generated, number of messages sent, that kind of thing. And this document I've put together gives us the opportunity to view the goal broken down into small goals, okay? And we have the end in sight. If you don't know what's going on in your business, if you don't know the numbers, you're guessing. You should be basing your activity on data rather than emotion. And in business, emotions don't win, logic does. On top of that, we've got various automations that show us every single person that's downloaded a lead magnet and what their email is as well. So we can see who's starting to warm up. And it might be my LinkedIn planner that someone's downloaded. It might be that they're attending a masterclass. It might be the fact that they've started to book a call. But all of this just gives us enough information and people to go after every single day. So if you take one thing away from this video, please let it be this: track your numbers. Stage number 4 is we prep the journey. A lot of people will make the mistake of letting someone book a call with them and then just showing up on the day of the call. Now there might be like 2-3 days in between when the call's booked and when it actually happens. So I had to sit down and thought about what I could put in place just again to enhance that perception of success if people work with us. So we made a couple of explainer vids. One to explain what happens on the call and another to explain the Content to Clients program as a whole, so people can understand what goes on, and this just reduces friction and questions and objections on the call as well. Something to consider if you've not got these things in place. So in between those things, as part of the journey, we also took out some client interviews and a bit of social proof. So an interview with my client Kat and my client Melissa, both reaching 5-figure months, and it just again strengthens that perception. It shows prospects that their goals are achievable. Stage number 5 is content, and this is the big one. Across the whole of August, we pushed out loads of content. Initially on LinkedIn, we were aiming for twice a day, but that was really scuppering the reach of the second post. So we actually just took it down to 1 post a day, and that was much more effective. And that's something I'm continuing to do moving forward. You know, we've got loads of content, backlog of content that we could publish probably 3 times a day, but once seems to be the sweet spot for LinkedIn. I'll have to read from my screen for this next part, but across August we published 9 carousels, 9 photos, 3 sort of diagrams, if you like, 4 short form talking head videos, 4 short form client interviews, and 4 long form videos from YouTube, 1 poll and 2 emails. So the carousels were taking people on a journey. They were either shifting beliefs or painting a transformation of some description. So the 7 reasons your business isn't progressing, what I would do if I was start from zero, why your pitch is failing, things that you should stop doing if you want to hit 5-figure or 10K months, and the types of content that I produce to create 30K plus months using LinkedIn as well. So carousels are great. Obviously publish them in a PDF format. The CTAs you've already seen, but every single one of these pretty much we're pushing people towards a free call using the urgency of the price rise in September. Personal photos were literally just screenshots from some video footage, some old stuff that I found. There was a funny one with me in my bedroom in a questionable position. Then the promo images were just reminding people of how long was left. Really low engagement, didn't expect to get much on them, but they just cemented the end date or the price rise date in people's minds. Every time I leave the house, I'm pretty much recording short form video content, sat down somewhere, just go set up a camera for an hour and shoot. So just included a couple of those. And possibly one of the most important things were those client interviews that I mentioned. So I put out 4. One with Katie, who we helped go from 1K to 7.5K in a second month in the program. One with Louise, who came in and is now hitting consistent 10K months. One with another Katie Skelton, who has since joined the team, absolute legend. She did, I think it was 26K in less than 90 days after joining with no offer. And then of course Steve, an interview with him where he talked about how he made 8K in the program so far, but also the massive mindset shifts that he went through. And again, this just shows people what they can achieve if they put their money where their mouth is, which is obviously what people need to do if they actually want to see any sort of success. You know, I hesitated on investing in myself for, I don't know, 6 months to a year. If I could have done it sooner, I would have done, because it was an absolute game changer. So just reinforcing that belief or breaking the limiting belief if people have it. Then I like to chuck out once a week YouTube videos rather than publish them on YouTube. I actually just stick them organically on LinkedIn now in the full form. I had one talking about LinkedIn feature posts. I actually broke down why we were raising our prices by £1,000 as well, just to give people context. I broke down 2 really good sales books as well. And there's a reason that I published the long form content directly to LinkedIn rather than signposting people to go and watch it on YouTube. LinkedIn obviously wants to keep people on the platform, and any form of long form content, providing it's not boring, is going to really help nurture and strengthen that trust between you and the potential client as well. So long form video is now a massive part of our strategy moving forward. Then of course, every month we usually do a poll, just start some conversations and things like that, but we ask people what their plan was for August. Are they trying to put together a new offer or solidify it? Are they trying to improve the content? They're trying to get more leads, or is it something else? And everyone that responded, we had an interaction with and took the right people to a call as well. On top of that, outside LinkedIn activity, we also sent 2 emails. So the first one, as you'll see on screen, was just me describing Steve's story and showcasing his testimonial or his interview with us and taking people to our website to watch it. And the second one was a final countdown with a timer in the middle of the screen. Obviously it's not moving now because the deadline's passed, but just telling people as a reminder, you know, if you want to join C2C and still get it at its lowest ever price, the time is now. Then we actually ran a live masterclass, which we got a couple of leads from too, which was great. It was a lower attendance than most masterclasses I've done, but that was about content and how you can build a content system with minimal input to help you out winning clients and generating leads on LinkedIn. Stage number 6, and this is where it's just about to start getting exciting, is lead flow. So obviously all this content, all this activity produced a lot of activity and a lot of attention. I was sending outbound DMs, we were getting inbound DMs, we were getting call bookings, lead magnet downloads. And just to reinforce when I talked about data earlier, is we kept track of the leads. We knew exactly who was in the mix, who was in our ecosystem, and we also knew which stage they were at. So we have a lead tracker built out in Notion, so everything's centralized and we can see where people are up to. Again, I've had to blur some of it out, but you'll see on screen, we've got a really, really simple, almost CRM with the date, the name, the social profile URL, and the stage that they're at. Stage number 7, things are really heating up now, sales calls. So both myself and our head of client success were available to take sales calls. So we sort of divided and conquered, but we're both available to take calls Monday to Friday. And the whole aim of everything I've talked about so far is to get people to a stage when they book a call or they turn up to a call where they're already 80% bought in, Perhaps they've just got a couple of questions, might be with regards to some operational stuff or timings, or they just want to see the whites of our eyes and make sure we're actually real people. The whole point of all the content is just to get people to that stage. So they hop on the call, they're pretty much ready to buy. Some people they would pretty much just like take my money, and we can enroll them on the call rather than having to do the back and forth of a whole sales or discovery process. Obviously, they had a big incentive to buy on the call as well, because if they didn't and they came back next month, it would be £1,000 more expensive. So that really helped. But it just goes to show how much thought and effort goes into the prep, as I keep saying. And now the meaty bit, or the really exciting bit, the results. So as soon as the month finished, I went out and bought a Lamborghini. Got myself a nice fake little Rolex. I even went and got my hair did. I'm joking. I've still got my Ford EcoSport. Gets me from A to B. I'm not into cars. I do want a real Rolex though. Anyway, we shot for 50k. Okay, and that would have been our best ever month. We ended up on 62, which is definitely our best ever month. Still is. And we had a closing rate of 59%, which is about our average. Just over 50% typically is our average closing rate. So we were 12k over target, which is amazing. And this means that we can invest that money into enhancing the client experience even further. You know, that's the thing we're most passionate about, is making sure the people that come in get results. But now with extra money, I don't go and take that. I take like less than £1,000 from the business every single month. I put that back into the business, whether that's more software, whether it's bringing in someone else to help with the client success side of things. I'm more than happy at this stage in the business just to chuck more money into it, because I know it will pay dividends in the long term. Understand that this takes time to build. You're probably not going to be able to jump all over this if you're, 2 months into business, but hopefully there will be some learnings you can take from it. Otherwise, it takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of prep and effort as well. So if you want to find out more about how we actually help people start to get results, how we help people win clients using organic content on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and using a couple of other platforms as well if need be, like email and YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can watch this video here. If you're not, you can head to my YouTube channel and you can watch the video on the main page, and that breaks down the whole experience. Anyway, hope this has been useful. I will catch you next week.